MRT Corp CEO Abdul Yazid Kassim is said to be leaving the company 16 months after he took over the helm. Abdul Yazid was formerly project director of Malakoff Corp. He was appointed as MRT Corp CEO on February 1, 2019, replacing Datuk Sri Sharil Mokhtar. Sources say he will be succeeded by Datuk Muhammad Zarif Hashim, currently the CEO of Sapura Secure Technologies. Muhammad Zarif joined Sapura Group in 2007 as the program director for the Government Integrated Radio Network. He was later appointed as CEO of Sapura Secure Technologies in 2011. In August 2013, he was also made COO of the Sapura Group. Prior to joining the Sapura Group, he headed Post Malaysia's Corporate Planning and Business Evaluation Unit before being promoted to COO of the Logistics Group. Abdul Yazid's departure comes amid a number of changes at the top of GLCs and GLICs following the change in government. Among them were the resignations of Pemodalan National Group CEO and President Jalil Rashid, as well as Petronas President and CEO Tan Sri Wan Zulkifli Wan Arifin. A group representing the 900,000 shareholders of Bank Rakyat filed a legal action today in a bid to wrest back control of the bank from the government. The application for judicial review seeks to dissolve Bank Rakyat's board of directors and to initiate a shareholders meeting to terminate the operation of the Bank Kerjasama Rakyat Malaysia Berhad Act, Special Provision 202/1978, which would effectively take the management of the bank away from the government. According to their lawyer Muhammad Hanif Khatri Abdullah, the application was made to challenge the decision by former Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Rezwan Muhammad Yusof to disallow requests by Bank Rakyat members to abolish the Act and for members to call for a shareholders meeting to discuss its abolition. Under the Act, the minister in charge of Bank Rakyat may abolish the enactment when it appears that it is no longer necessary for the Act to remain in force. Hanif added that Tun Hussein On during his tenure as PM had stated that the Act was just a temporary measure to save Bank Rakyat from abuse of power and insolvency. Now that its problems have been fixed, he says the running and management of the lender should be returned to the bank. The board and management of Petronas are said to be attempting to convince Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin to drop a planned sales tax settlement with Sarawak. Citing sources close to the company, Reuters says the company's top officials are still trying to get the PM to block the payout after its president and CEO Tan Sri Wan Zulkifli Wan Arifin quit in opposition to the deal. One source told Reuters that management is drawing up fresh representation for the PM in a bid to convince him to see things their way. Another said Petronas executives recently briefed Muhyiddin, telling him the deal was not viable and would set a bad precedent, but he reportedly refused to budge. By withdrawing its appeal against the tax, Petronas is seen as opening the floodgates to similar claims by other states. The Prime Minister by law has the final say on matters involving the state-owned oil giant, Malaysia's only Fortune 500 company. Amid higher seat cancellations and lower seat capacity, the Malaysian Aviation Commission now expects air passenger traffic to drop further by 48.7% to 50.3% year-on-year. This translates into 54.3 million to 56 million passengers. Previously, it predicted that passenger traffic would shrink by 36.2% to 38.1%. Between January and May this year, Malaysia's passenger traffic was down 55.2% year-on-year to 19.6 million passengers as a result of the travel restrictions and the MCO. Mavcom had initially expected 35.2% of domestic seats and 42.9% of international seats scheduled for 2020 to be cancelled. That would come up to about 44.8 million seats. However, as at early June, 38.8 million seats had already been cancelled by local and foreign carriers. The Commission says Malaysian Airlines risk losing 11.3 billion ringgit in revenue this year, no thanks to the pandemic, while foreign carriers stand to lose 4.6 billion ringgit. This represents 51.1% of estimated total airfare revenue in 2019. The Energy and Natural Resources Ministry has to date issued 11 approved permits for river sand exports. With DAP, holders can export river sand and other minerals to Brunei, China, Taiwan, South Korea, Vietnam, Hong Kong, India, Japan and Maldives. Pekan-based Legacy Lestari is one of the holders of the AP. Its permit is valid until July 2027. The firm is said to be forming a JV with Ace Market-listed Kenger International to export sand to China and Hong Kong. Another listed company that is said to be involved in the sand export venture is Edgerson, which was recently queried by Bursa Malaysia in May after announcing it had won a staggering 44.8 billion renminbi or 27.5 billion ringgit purchase order from China's Guangzhou Kaishengda Industrial Company for the supply of river and sea sand for 15 years. Edgerson also recently formed a 70-30 JV with Bintang Dayang, which has ties with two sand operation business partners, Dagas Juta and Malayan Energistic Solutions. The previous PH government had banned all exports of sea sand for environmental reasons. River sand may be sold with approval from the Prime Minister.